Trouble in paradise. There's some sort of interference around you at this time. An air sign. But you know better because you can feel who it is. Sometimes your intuition screams at you and you just don't want to listen because you're just like, oh God, no, not this person too. But you know who it is. They want to cause you all this problem, all these problems. The Tower, heartache, they want to keep you separated. They want you to just go away, I heard. Why? You might get hung up on the fact of people like this that just want to play head games with you and cause you, we have 111 on the clock, and cause you issues for no reason because of their own insecurities, their own ugliness inside. God. And you're just like, again, really? Another person like this? Again. And it's tiring because you're just like, why are there so many people that are so ugly inside? You know, like, why do they have to spread around their problems to everyone else? Why are they getting in my business? They want to fight with you. They want to cause you problems. They want to trip you up. They want to C-block you. They want to just do everything they can to just get in your business. And you know who this person is as the High Priestess. You know exactly who they are. You know, they can actually be pretending to be your friend, but then at the same time, just trying to collect evidence to gossip about and make up lies about and twist the story so other people don't come to you in a clear fashion. God. It gives me a headache right now thinking about it. These types of people are very narcissistic. And the problem with narcissists is that they're charmers to people that don't know better. So they'll charm the pants off of most people to make their quote-unquote image look a certain way. But deep down inside, they are not anywhere close to that. They hold their cards to their chest. And they're very manipulative, right? Everyone is just a pawn. It's Machiavellian, where you use people just for your own advantage. You're not being nice just to be nice. You're being nice because you want your image to be shown as nice. You're being nice because you want flying monkeys around you. You're being nice because you're setting people up. You're being nice because you have some sort of plan in place, you know? These are the types of people that are Machiavellian in their approach. It's very narcissistic, psychopathic, sociopathic, pick one. But they hold their cards close because if they really showed the world who they are, no one would like them, no one would believe them. So in order to make their evil plan work, they charm the pants off of everyone else around them. So if you bring up the fact that, hey, this person is doing this and this to me, no one's going to believe you because most people are going to be like, oh, well, I don't see that. I've never seen anything like that. And then they gaslight you. So it's kind of like having the world gaslight your experience because they haven't seen this ugly behavior from the narcissist themselves. And that is a very frustrating place to be in because what do you do now? You could stay away, but sometimes you just can't stay away everywhere you go, you know? You have to have the strength to fight in a way that is gentle for you, right? What else comes out? Okay. You have to know yeah. So these types of people are antagonizing, right? They want to antagonize you and they want to make you fight first. So they look like the little victims, right? Like, I'm just a victim. I've never done anything wrong to this person. They're so mean. Meanwhile, they've been poking and prodding and gossiping and lying the whole time, but no one else sees it. They don't see it that way. They just whisper little lies around, so they don't look like a blatant liar or a gossiper. They just look like they're just nonchalantly saying something, right? And to most idiots that can't decipher what's really happening or that they're being used themselves, they'll believe it, and then they're like, yes, I got another one, But in order for you to counteract this energy, you have to act aloof. Like, obviously you stay in your high priestess mode of being like, I see you, I feel you, I know what you're doing, right? And that is good energy to have because you're staying grounded in yourself and in your intuition. Your intuition and your body knows when you're being wronged. Your mind might be tricked because that's easy to do with people, like having your mind tricked, but your body never lies. Your body will always tell you what's happening. And if there's something wrong with somebody, your body's gonna feel it. You might have your hair stand up on the back on your arm and being like, ugh, I just feel really weird around this person. I don't know why. They're so charming though. Listen to your body. Your body's not gonna lie to you, right? Even though you already know this internally, people might try to gaslight you, and there might be a lot of people doing this. So it's common for people to question their own reality when it comes to people like this, unfortunately. But if you stay in an energy of like, you know what, I'm bored with this game. I don't want to play, right? I don't want to play with this person. If you just kind of put up a wall, but you do it in the strength kind of way where you're staying gentle and kind, but your heart is a boulder and you're unmoving like a boulder, right? Meaning like they can try to chip away at you, they can poke you, they can throw rocks at you, they can try to push you around, but they can't do that because you are steady in your approach. You know exactly who they are. And you don't care if other people are trying to team up and bully you as well. So if you just stay strong, it's called gray rocking when you're dealing with narcissistic people, where you don't give them any ammo, good or bad. You kind of just go mute on them. You're a gray rock. You're a boring gray rock to them. Now, that doesn't mean that you become that, but if you have to be around people like this that are constantly antagonizing you, you gray rock them, meaning like, okay, if they ask you how you are, you're like, good. End story. No other comments made. How's your love life? Amazing. Done. No other things that they can go on. How you feeling today? You look a little down. I'm fine. How's work? It's great. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you don't give them anything to hold on to. They want details so they can twist it. Right? They want details so they can gossip about it and make it something completely different than what it is. Even if you tell them the truth and you're like, hey, this is what's happening, this is my life, and this is exactly what it is, they're going to take that and run with it and just twist it around and gossip about it and make lies up about it, and they're just going to make it worse. So you don't say anything good that's really out of character, and you don't say anything bad that's really out of character. You basically become boring around them. That doesn't mean that you have to be boring in real life. You can have an amazing life, but in order to protect your energy around these mosquito-like people, you have to be able to just kind of cross your arms and be like, I'm not interested in talking to you, and I don't need to explain myself to you. And that's how you're going to protect yourself, in a gentle way, because you don't have to combat them back, because they want that. They want you to argue with them. They want you to fight with them. They want you to get back at them. They want you. They're antagonizing you for a reason, right? It's called bull gating, where you poke the bull, and then all of a sudden the bull charges, and then they're like, look, the bull is so dangerous. It's like, are you kidding me? You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that energy of that. That's how you're going to stay strong. And here we go. The Queen of Pentacles pops out. And that's how you stay respectable. if not anything but more for yourself. 10:01 on the clock. The Queen of Pentacles is strong and steady, and she sits on her throne confidently, and there's no reason to get off your throne and kneel down to somebody that's trying to pull at your dress, like they're pulling at your garments, and they're just like, I want this, I want that, and you're just like, no, this is where I am, this is where I belong, and this is who I am. And they can try to, pull you down into the muck with them. That's what they want. But if you stay strong and you stay in this Queen of Pentacles, regal, strong, steady, kind of way, they're not going to be able to get to you. Yes, gossipers will always talk. Yes, people that are manipulative will always try to set up traps for you, right? They might be like, oh, well, we don't go here. You don't go here either, right? And you can be like, yeah, I don't go here either anymore. And then they'll go right back to the place that they said they weren't going to, just to spread your gossip. To say, oh, well, she said that she's not going here anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just kind of like want to ruin everything that you say. So be careful with your words around narcissistic people. It's better to remain silent. And if you do have to speak up for yourself, which sometimes you do have to put down your foot and be like, no. They don't like being told no, right? But sometimes you have to speak up for yourself, and sometimes you have to like lay down the law, right? So if you are, this is another thing, people that don't talk a lot, when they actually say something, their words mean more. So if you remind yourself of like staying regal and just living in your own truth and light, developing your own world, internally. And if one of these assholes comes up to you and tries to poke and prod, you do have the right to say things sometimes, but remember to pick your battles wisely and to say things at the right time. So if you feel like you have to speak up for yourself, you're like, oh, well, they're putting words in your mouth. They're like, well, you said that you were doing this because of this. And you're like, I've never said that, ever. Yeah, you did. I think I remember what I say. You know what I mean? So you just remember to use your words when you have to. But then when they're just trying to set up traps for you, or try to ask questions about who you are, you don't have to say a damn word to these people. And usually when they spread lies, you want to cover up. Like, you don't want to cover up, but you want to set the record straight. But why? For what reason? You think they're really going to listen to you? Ace of Pentacles. This is going to give you space to develop your own life. The Queen of Pentacles, right, is not worried about what other people are doing. People that are doing better than you are not concerned about what you're doing. You're never going to find a bully that's doing better than you. Remind yourself that. Because the people that are trying to pick on you, the people that are trying to take you down, to gossip about you, spread lies about you, they're doing worse. And they know it inside. And that's why they feel like they have to cut you down in order to make themselves feel better. Because if they were doing better themselves, if they were better at whatever it is that they feel inadequate with, they wouldn't have to spread lies, they wouldn't have to talk shit, they wouldn't have to antagonize you or just disrespect you, right? So when you do that and you just stay in your own lane and you remind yourself who you are, where your throne is, and why people are trying to pull at you, you give yourself the space to have new opportunities, to make more money, to have more success, to have the space internally and intellectually to think about new projects and stuff like that. Because instead of being wrapped up in these narcissistic games, your mind stays stuck in that energy. So now, instead of thinking about your future or thinking about where you're going next, your plans for the future, you're thinking about Susie so-and-so over here talking shit about you, and then going back to the source and then telling, other people about what you're saying. Like, instead of thinking about all the traps and trickeries that people try to do to you, your mind gets stuck in that, and then you don't have your mind focusing on your future. So that's exactly what they want. They want to distract you. They're a huge distraction, okay? So again, gray rock, blind yourself to it, because if people are going to believe gossip, let them. Because you can't do anything about it. You could just lead by example, right? You lead by example in your life, and that's all you need to do. End of story. So I think in this reading, I feel like you have to remind yourself who you are, where you're going, and stay focused on that. And let all the... I don't know why I'm saying this, because let all the peasants fall. Meaning, like, all these narcissistic people, let them fall to your wayside while you continue on and sitting regally with strength and honor. Because if you fall into their traps and you fall into this game playing and these fighting tactics, you're going to be knocked off your throne. And you're not going to have the honor that you have inside. If you lead with honor and integrity and truth, and you just stay strong and unwavering, like the boulder that you are, right? You're steady, you're strong. Nothing is going to move you, especially these small wins of people. You'll respect yourself more too, right? So you have to know when to speak up, but not often you'll have to do that. Right? Queen of Wands, the Four of Wands. So there's a new opportunity like approaching that is going to give you more stability, right? And the Sun, how beautiful. The Sun. So see what happens when you just remind yourself of who you are. If you don't get trapped in these narcissistic traps, because it's easy to, because you're just like, how could people do this? I have no idea how people could want to do this. It's so fucking ugly. Instead of doing that, think like, okay, well, I have a huge opportunities that I'm creating for me, and there's a lot of stability that's going to happen around you, and you're going to be on your throne, like very happy, very creative. You're going to be creating new things, new projects. There's a new way of making money here. And there's also the Four of Wands, which could mean partnership and marriage. But if not, then it's about stability. There's four legs to a table. And if you just stay clear of all this ickiness around you, unfortunately, everyone likes to mock the person in charge, especially if they're jealous of it. So just remind yourself of all these little peasants, I'm going to call them, unfortunately, that they just want to knock you off your throne because they're not doing as good as you. But they know that inside. Remember that. Because they wouldn't be doing this to you if they felt adequate themselves. You have to remind yourself of why people want to bully you. Remember to just leave it in the past, right? You kind of just turn your back to them. Take what's yours. Take what's good. Take the lessons learned. Maybe you fell for one of their traps and you're just like, oh man, I fell for it, right? But just take the lesson and move on. Turn your back to them and move on. Like we have a person crossing their arms, person, you're kind of like taking the truths that you learned and you're turning your back to the past. Just turn your back to them. You don't have to deal with it. You don't have to play the games, and you don't have to answer questions. It's just because people, trickeries, lies, deceit. Just because people ask you questions does not mean you have to answer any question in life. You're not on trial, okay? So a lot of people feel like they have to be polite when someone asks you a question. You're like, oh, I guess I have to answer it because I'm being polite. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have to answer any question that anyone ever asks you. You decide if you want to answer the question or not, right? There's going to be people that are going to test you, right? They're going to test you, but there's offers here to show you the way of doing things. So remind yourself, if these trickeries come at you and they're like, how are you? What's your love life like? You know, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. They don't really care because they would have asked you that before. They would have been your friend before. They're not your friends. They're just trying to look for information because they're snooping around. And remind yourself, you don't have to answer anything to anybody. You're not on trial. Okay, be a little bit like a lawyer and just kind of like stay in your own lane, right? You're like, okay, is this going to work for me? Is this a question that I need to answer? Does this serve me too, right? And it's not coming from a selfish place. It's coming more of like a, what is this? Like, kind of like take a breather, take a deep breath or two. Evaluate the situation before you open your mouth and respond. The slower that you respond, the more concise you will be in your response. Okay, that's another tactic that narcissists use, is the tactic of time. You got to answer right now. Answer me right now. Answer right now. You know, like, and they just give you the stress of blurting out whatever comes in 2121. So remind yourself to take a deep breath. Don't say much. Gray rock them, turn your back, cross your arms, you know, give one word answers to these people, or not answer them at all. You don't even have to, you could just come back with a question, be like, why are you asking me this question? What is your intention with this comment? You know, and lawyer them back. And it takes practice. And yes, you will make mistakes sometimes, like everyone, because you're a human. And unfortunately, you have to have your guard up with certain types of humans, because humans are the biggest predators, okay? And humans know how to lie, deceive, and play games, you know, a lot more than other things on this earth. But you have the Wheel of Fortune here and the Sun to remind you that the wheels turn, right? And they'll turn in your direction if you keep going forward in the right direction. If you don't get knocked off your throne by silly little games, if you don't worry too much about the murmurs and the whispers of narcissists, you know, there's a huge future here. There's a new opportunity here to create something new. You know, you learn your lessons and you move on, and you don't meddle in the mud with people. You don't fight all the fights that they want you to fight. You just stay true to yourself. You stay strong. You stay grounded, and give yourself a deep breath or two and a minute to respond if you want to respond to people. If not, then F them, right? You know, because you don't need to respond to anybody about anything, especially when you feel uneasy. So remind yourself, when you're talking to somebody and your gut is twisted up, or you just feel like goosebumps, or you just feel off and your body is giving you signals that you don't feel right around certain people, remember to listen to that, because intellectually you might be tricked into thinking that someone is good or bad, right? Because again, they're very charming, they're manipulative, they're Machiavellian. So remind yourself to check in with your body, how you feel around certain people, and to not say much around these types of people, just to look at them and almost laugh at them because they're ridiculous.